is Chris Bates. I am the program director and lead instructor for the Magnet Academy of Culinary Arts here at Wekiva High School. And this is orientation. Yay! I feel like I need a cup of coffee. How you doing? Whew. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Here is how orientation is going to work, or how I perceive it working. If you go to wekivaculinary.org and you click on the parent tab, or the student tab, but if you click on the parent tab, the first thing that shows up, it says orientation 2020. That's what you need to click on. And there are a list of different links that you can click on underneath that orientation page that are going to tell you exactly what documents that you need to look at, what is available, and whatnot, and so forth, and so on. One of the things... Hello! Chef Bates here with a quick update on the parent-student agreement. Now, originally I had this super involved plan to get the contract signed by parents and students and then back to me, and it was getting more and more complicated as I had some students who were on campus and some students who are not on campus, and some craziness. So now it's much simpler. The exact same parent-student agreement has been changed into a Google form. So all you do is you read through, you fill in some information, you click yes on the things that you want to say yes to. Like I have read the syllabus and I understand the academic standards. I'm going to support Chef in holding my student to it. And if you're the kid, you're going to be doing the same thing at the exact same time on the same form. So there'll be parts for parents, there'll be parts for students. It'll be a bonding experience for you. I'm so excited for you. Please make sure you fill it out completely. And when you're done, click submit. That's it. No messy paperwork, no muss, no fuss. But you do. Now, sometimes I'm going to be speaking directly towards Culinary 1 students. We've got a lot of them coming in, and the requirements for Culinary 1 are different than the requirements for Culinary 2, 3, or 4. So please don't get confused. There are some things that apply to everybody, and there are some things that only apply to upper level students. So stick with me. I promise it won't be that hard. First things first, and we should get this out of the way. Culinary arts is most definitely not a cooking class. See, in a cooking class, you would learn how to make macaroni and cheese for your family at home, and they would eat what you learned to make at school, and they would love it, and they would love you, and you would get wonderful birthday presents. This is not that. This is not a home ec class. This is culinary, and in culinary, we're learning how to do professional cooking. We look into the food, the science, the history. We look into how it works, how restaurants work, how they do volume cooking when you're cooking for hundreds of meals. We do a lot of interesting things that are not part of a cooking class. As a result, when we're cooking to learn, not cooking to eat. So if you're signing up for culinary because you think you'll get to eat every day, you should change courses. We're not going to do that.
I don't even know who you are, and I need to take you. Come here. I can't just run into my foot. There we go. Excellent. Whoa. What did you do that night, Alex? No, not Alex. Carla, smile. So this is what you guys do after you go surfing. Just stuff yourself.
Our course is split up into 3 very specific areas that is how you earn points, how you get a good grade. The first is just the purely what's called in OCPS standards-based learning. It's 80% of your grade, and it has to do a lot with think of it as the textbook work of food, recipe history, the science that goes behind making a great hamburger or a great steak, or understanding why pasta cooks the way it does so that you're able to do it better next time. Understanding how food works, that's the science. Understanding where it came from, that's the history and the culture. And we're going to spend some time there. There's a whole lot of the standards that are associated with culinary arts education that don't have to do with physically cooking. Okay, so we have that. Then we have all the practical stuff. So we got the academic stuff on one side, then the practical stuff. When it comes to the practical things, we're focusing on what can you do? Can you do it? Can you do it without help? And then there's the tests, the certifications. We have two kinds of certifications here at Wekiva Culinary. We have skill certifications, which is where you are given a task that you have been trained to do, and you do it by yourself while somebody watches, just to make sure you can do it without help. These three things, the certifications, the exams, the actual practical learning, and then the academic learning, that's what makes Wekiva Culinary so unique. We really focus in on the practical, and the academic supports it, as opposed to the other way around. So when it comes to some of the rules that you will have to abide by, understand a couple of the key ones, please. The first is, stuff has to be turned in on time. Everybody has a laptop. There's no reason for you not to turn things in on time, even if you're not in school, because everything that has to be turned in is posted online. The way our late policy works is it's very simple. It's the same policy that we have throughout all of the career and technical education courses here at Wekiva High School and throughout the district, which is you get 10% off each day. So if you turn something in one day late, it's 10% off. The best grade you can get is a 90%. Turn in 2 days late, the best grade you can get is an 80%, and so on and so forth, until you're turning it in for a maximum of 50 percentage points. And you can turn in anything at any time up until the very last day assignments are accepted and get 50% off, which is a way to bring up your grade, because a 50 is better than a 0. While we're talking about turning things in, we should probably talk about absences. It is impossible to get a good grade, to be successful, to understand what's going on if you don't show up to school. You have to be here. Please, please, please be here. Show up and do the work. If you are an online student, this is even more critical for you, because you don't have the chance to build up your score with the practical things that we do, the catering jobs that we do, because you're at home. So for my Connect Ed students, please understand, a deadline is a deadline. You gotta turn it in on time. That's the best way that we can keep that grade nice and high for you. When it comes time to cook, you have to be here. If you're not here on a cook day, it's very difficult to make up a lab. It's very hard. If all of the students on your cooking team have completed a lab and you weren't here that day because you just couldn't wake up in time to make the bus or whatever, it's very challenging to make those days up. We'll do our best to work with you, but it is a challenge. You gotta be here. For all the details of the attendance policy, please review the syllabus. Look through it step by step. You don't want to get a poor score in the course because you weren't aware of what you needed to do. There's one thing I do want to mention, and that's this. If you are sick, if you're ill and you can't come to school, you have an excused absence. All you have to do is get your parent or guardian to write a note saying you couldn't make it to school because you were sick. Make sure that that note comes to me as well as the attendance office. If it doesn't come to me, I won't know that your absence was excused. It doesn't say that in Skyward. It just says you weren't here. So in order to get an excused absence from an assignment, please bring that to me so I can check off that those days were excused and give you additional time to make it up. Remember that the amount of time that you get to make up something is the days that you were absent plus 1. So if we had a test that we took on Wednesday, and you were gone Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but you came back on Monday, you'll have 4 days to make it up because you were absent for 3. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. By Thursday, you'll have to have taken the test or you'll get a 0. Does that make sense? So that's some of the academic stuff. Turn in stuff on time, show up. Is it really that hard? Turn in stuff on time and show up. Hey, by the way, we have a very clear and precise cheating policy. If you turn in something to me that another student turns in the exact same work, you're both turning in the exact same thing. Somebody copied somebody. And since I don't want to call anybody a liar, you'll both get a 0. Unless it is a group assignment, don't turn in group work. It's a bad idea. Now let's talk about uniforms. We get to wear a uniform here at Wekiva Culinary. That is true for Culinary 2, 3, and 4. Now, Culinary 1 students, they haven't earned their uniform yet. You earn it your first year. You'll get it your second year, but you earn it your first. Your first year, you can wear anything you want as long as you have on non-slip, grease-resistant shoes. You and your family are responsible for getting you some non-slip, grease-resistant shoes because no one goes into my kitchen or my bakery. No one works a catering event. No one goes to a competition. No one does anything that involves food and hot stuff if they're not wearing shoes that are going to keep them safe and help them to not slip and fall and die. Because I don't want you to slip and fall and die. I like you. You're lovely. So, no slipping and falling and dying means you got to wear slip-resistant, grease-resistant shoes. You can get these a couple of different ways. If you want to go the most inexpensive route, they sell them at Walmart. The brand's called Tread Safe. They look exactly like a, I'll put up a picture on the video so you can see what it looks like. They're a kitchen clog. I think they're called the pepper clog. They're not particularly comfortable, but they will keep you safe. And if you're only wearing them an hour, 2 or 3 times a week, what's the big deal? If you decide that you want something that's a little bit more comfortable, or you are really passionate about culinary arts and you know it from the very beginning, go and get a good pair. They're not that much more expensive. You can get a wonderful pair of Crocs. The Bistro Clog by Croc is what I wear. Yeah, look, see, I'm wearing them right now. They're really, really comfortable. You will not fall while you have these on. They're amazing. They're like boats. They're not pretty, but they'll keep you safe. There's other brands as well. If you go online, you'll see some of the other brands that are listed at wekivaculinary.org under kitchen shoes. But it is your responsibility to get those, and it is your responsibility to get them soon. And we will not come into the kitchen if everybody in the class doesn't have on the right footwear. It used to only be required of upper level classes, and then last year I had a Culinary 1 student who had a slip and fall because he was wearing sneakers. And I just decided, look, we have to be safe. It's more important that we keep you safe than that you spend an extra 20 bucks. So if you order them on Amazon, which I highly recommend, it's $34 right now. Crocs come out to you looking like this. They have a bunch of different sizes. They tend to run slightly big, but shoes are a requirement. You gotta have them. You gotta have them in order to cook. I yell at students, it feels like every single day, put on your shoes. You have to have on the shoes. They keep you safe. Culinary 2, 3, and 4, in addition to non-slip cooking shoes, also have to have something that Culinary 1 students do not, and that is a pair of chef pants. We wear the chef pants because we do a lot of stuff in public, and they keep you safe. They are heat resistant, spill resistant. So if you accidentally knock over some boiling water, it's going to run down the outside of the pants and you'll get a very light burn as opposed to them soaking into your jeans and you getting a really bad burn. Plus, when we're in public, they make us look good because we all match. Those chef pants are included in the supply and equipment donation that's required of everybody. And I'll get to that in a minute. So you got your pants, which we're going to provide you. You're going to get a chef coat. Congratulations! You're going to get a numbered chef coat. It's numbered right in the back of the collar so we know who got which one. And you're responsible for taking good care of that between now and when you give it back to me at the end of the year. I'm working on a way where you get a personalized chef coat where your name will get embroidered across the front and you can keep all of your certification pins that you receive right here on the collar. It's going to be cool. We haven't worked out all the details, but that is coming. It's just not here yet. But you'll have a chef coat. It's yours to take good care of. My Culinary 2, 3, and 4 students will also get a probe thermometer, bimetallic stemmed probe thermometer, so they can make sure that that chicken that they're cooking for someone to eat gets up to 165 degrees, and a black Sharpie, which you'll get at the very beginning of the year. Now, a lot of these tools and equipment you have to take good care of. So everyone in Culinary 2, 3, and 4, and some of my Culinary 1 students are going to get issued a locker right outside in the hallway. The locker is where you can keep all your culinary stuff, your equipment, your clothes, your chef coat, hopefully clean. There's a dirty chef coat in a locker for a week. That smells bad. Please don't do that. The locker is yours to keep and maintain. You can keep anything in there that you want. Just understand, of course, that per OCPS guidelines, the powers that be have the right to open it up and go through it at any time. So only keep good stuff, my friend. I do want to go over quickly the kitchen behavioral contract. Now, the first maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks of school, we're going to be going over how do you stay safe in the kitchen? How do you keep the food safe and sanitized, especially right now in the era of COVID-19. See, right now I'm alone in a kitchen. Nobody else is here, which is why it's so echoey. Easy for me to stay safe. by myself. But I'm going to need for all of my students to follow some fairly strict guidelines to make sure that our food stays safe while we're cooking it. It's in keeping with the Serve Safe standards that all of my students have to get tested on, and it's in keeping with the health code. We are a fully functioning commercial facility, which means the health code comes and checks in on us. And when the health department shows up, I have to prove that all of the students with me have been trained on how to cook safely and are doing it right. And that means a couple of things. Students can't eat or drink where food is being made. You can't. Now, if you are drinking in the kitchen, and you can drink in the kitchen as long as that drink is not where food is being made, it has to be with a lid that is closed and can be sealed so that if it knocks over, it's not going to go in food. So, for example, I have a Starbucks mug, and the Starbucks mug locks. So as long as this is my beverage container, I can have this in the kitchen with me because it's closed and sealable. But I can't eat where food is made at all. If you're tasting food, that is not the same as eating food. Somebody's going to say, hey, aren't we supposed to taste what we cook? Yes, you're supposed to taste it, but you can't sit down and eat it. There can be no personal food in our refrigerator. There can be no personal food that's cooked. You can't bring in some ingredients and make yourself a lunch. Don't even ask me. The answer is no. If you want to use one of the microwaves and warm up some food, you have to ask first, because sometimes the answer will be no. If we are actively preparing a meal that we're going to serve to the public, no. Absolutely not. No, no, no. And while we're talking about food, we have to talk at least for a second about theft. Do not eat what is not given to you. If I say you can have it, enjoy yourself. Knock yourself out. Stuff yourself silly. Don't care. If I haven't said you can eat it, don't eat it. You don't know. Maybe you're eating something that needs to go to a special event. Or maybe you're eating somebody else's assignment. And now they're not going to be able to turn in their assignment because you had a snack. Don't do that. It's a terrible idea. Absolutely terrible. The other policies that have to do with how we act in the kitchen, how we handle knives, the first aid policies, how I want you to walk, how I want you to announce yourself when you're going behind somebody else so they know you're there and there isn't an accident. All of the policies that have to do with being safe, that's part of our training. And you'll receive a certification pin for having passed through all of that training. But the policy that you're signing, the kitchen conduct and safety agreement that you're signing, that is saying that you are going to learn these things and you're going to do what you're told when it comes to being safe. Being safe is more important than anything else. I haven't had any students lose fingers yet. I don't want this year to be the year I lose a finger, or for you to lose a finger for that matter. There is a supply and equipment donation that's required of everyone. It is split up into two parts, the fall semester, the first semester, and the spring semester. That equipment and supply donation is different for Culinary 1 students because they're not getting pants, and they're not getting a chef coat, and they're not getting a probe thermometer. All they need is money for food. and then culinary 2, 3, and 4 students, because those classes, those courses, are a lot more resource intensive, right? We got to buy a lot more stuff. Okay, so program and supply donation. For Culinary 1 students, this is very straightforward. It's $35 in the fall, $25 in the spring. That's a total of what? $60. That covers all the food that you'll be making all year long. It only applies to students who are going to be on campus. If you are learning through Connect Ed, you don't need to provide any kind of money to us here at Wekiva Culinary at all, because you're going to be buying your own groceries. For my Culinary 2, 3, and 4 students, it gets slightly more expensive because we have to pay for you to get a new pair of pants. Everybody is getting a new pair of pants. Even if you already have a pair, you're getting another one. And so that all of the chef coats could be sanitized, kill all the germs, and then dry cleaned. So both of those fees are worked in the costs of doing those things to keep you safe and to get you some new pants. So that fee is $55 in the fall and $35 in the spring. Now, you say, that's a lot of money. And I go, I understand, it is, isn't it? Anyone in Culinary 1, 2, 3, 4 students, any of those students who haven't yet turned in their equipment and supply donation by the due date, what's going to happen is they're going to get switched over to selling World's Finest Chocolate. You know those boxes of chocolate? We're going to sell those. Every student who doesn't turn in the equipment and supply donation by the due date, they'll get 2 boxes of chocolate. You sell those, your obligation to me is complete. In the spring, if you don't turn in the spring supply donation, that's okay too. You'll get 10 bottles of Wekiva Heat hot sauce, and you'll sell those and bring the money back, and that'll clear your obligation. We've done everything we possibly can to make sure that this is as inexpensive as possible. So, to recap, Culinary 1 guys, you got $35 in the fall, $25 in the spring. If you're learning at home, nothing. Culinary 2, 3, and 4 guys, if you'll have $55 in the fall and $35 in the spring. If you're learning at home, you got nothing. However, because you know there's a however, right? If you are involved, if you are learning at home, but you want to come and do some online learning, you'll still need those shoes. You'll need those shoes. If you are a competition student, or you're a student who would like to participate in one of our special events, we're going to have to check you out a chef coat, and we're going to have to get you some pants. Don't worry. There are links for additional payments that you can make on school pay. I know, it gets a little complicated, but it's a complicated time. We're going to get through it. This is the stuff that you have to return. And you'll have 3 weeks to get it back to me. 3 weeks. Count them. 21 days. This is very, very important. It asks questions about things like your allergies. It asks questions about things like, who should I call if you catch on fire? And if they're not available, who's the next person? This isn't a joke. I need to know this. accidents do happen. We are crazy about being safe, and I am insane. I get all over your case if I see you doing something dangerous, but accidents might happen, and if they do, I need to know who to call. So parents, guardians, make sure you fill this out carefully, please. At the bottom here, there's a section for students to sign their name. There's a section over here for parents to sign their name. Basically, it's saying, hey, I watched this whole video. I know what's coming. I know what's required of me. On the back side of that page are a list of acknowledgments. You're acknowledging that you understand our academic policies, and that you, the parent, understand them, and that your student is agreeing to abide by them. Understanding that stuff's got to get turned in on time, that you can't cheat, that you can't steal somebody else's work, that if you don't show up when it's time to cook, you might have a problem. You're checking that off, understanding it. The kitchen behavioral contract, all the things that have to do with being safe inside of our cooking space, you understand, and you're going to follow my guidance. That you want your student to follow my guidance, parents. You're backing me up. The third thing has to do with shoes. It does not matter what culinary level you're in. It does not matter. You have to have non-slip, grease-resistant shoes. If you are at home, if you're a home student, at some point you're going to need to come on campus, either to do a certification, a skill certification, to be involved with a catering event, maybe on a Saturday, who knows? You'll need the shoes to participate. If you come on a Saturday, and I've never met you before because you've been online the entire time, and this is my very first time seeing you, this is what I'll do. Hi, how you doing? Those aren't grease-resistant shoes. Nice to meet you. And then you'll leave. You got to have them. It says that I've watched the video and that you understand all the things that I just discussed about your chef coat, about how to take care of it, about how you get one, about when you need to return it. That you understand the equipment and supply donation, when it's due, and what happens if you don't turn it in, and how the fundraiser is going to work. You understand all that. It was up on this video, so you better understand. It's been a crazy time, but I bet you're a lot like me, and you miss being here. And for my Culinary 1 students who are just coming from middle school, I know you're excited, and I know you're probably a little scared, and that's okay. This is a little scary. When I first started teaching high school, I was scared too. That's okay. I'm excited and nervous, but we're going to be okay. It's just very important this year, with everything so crazy, that we're compassionate and that we're patient with each other and that we stay crazy flexible. Because I don't know what it's going to look like, and neither do you. But we're going to have a good time. And if nothing else, we'll learn how to make some great food. Hopefully. I'll make some good food. You guys can taste it. Then I'll taste the food you made and try not to be sad. I'm looking forward to meeting all my new students. Can't wait to see you guys coming back, who I've been with for years now. I love you all, and let's make this thing happen. We've got like a week. My stomach's growling. I mean, seriously. I'm cooking some food and it tastes so good. Hey, this is our new demonstration kitchen. For those of you who are coming back, remember when we used to have to like rearrange tables and try to know there was never enough space for everybody to get close? Now we got this cool new room where everybody can gather around. It's set up specifically for demonstrations. And who's calling now? I just put it on silent.